Looking at some easy troubleshooting techniques, even if you're not exactly sure what's wrong with the machine. This will work on any machine, washer, or dryer, but generally if you're in a laundromat working on these machines, you have another model just like it right next to it or in another row. So the easiest thing to do is start trading components one at a time. Like identify your problem, like the machine won't start, the motor won't work, whatever the case may be. Identify the problem, and then you want to start transferring parts systematically one at a time until the problem moves to the other machine. Like on the Dexters, for example, if it's not reading coins here, the easiest thing to do would be to take the accumulator board out and swap it with another machine. See if the other machine stops accepting coins, and this one does. Same thing would work on the Alliance machines here. You'd go ahead and swap the coin drop out with another machine. Or if the door's not locking, like on the MD2s, the most common problem is generally the door lock board. So you could just trade this with another machine. And with the plastic Molex plugs, they generally only plug in one way. If you have motors not working, you can generally power them with the machine next to them. Like this machine here, you could take the motor wires, make sure you label everything as you go so you know where they plug in, and literally if the motor's not working, take the machine next to it where it is working and run those motor wires into these contactors and see if this machine will power the other motor. And you can do that with most of these components. If the cycles aren't working properly, you can replace this timer with the timer out of a working machine and see if the problem moves. On most of the MD2s, especially the ones with the plastic plugs here, all of the wires on the timer are labeled with the number on the timer. So wire 20B would go to 20B on the timer. If you have an older machine with terminal strips instead, the numbers on the wires do not match up to the timer. Make sure you write them down and make a chart so you plug them back into the right spot. You can swap the temperature selector if need be. The board that powers the coin drop. Pressure switches are a common problem for not advancing through the cycle. You can switch your water valves if need be. And just like this on the Dexters, you have essentially two timers, the main timer and a reversing timer. If you're not advancing through your cycles properly, the easiest thing to do would be swap the timer with a working machine to see when it starts back up. Generally, the reversing timers fail first. I'd try that one first, but again, just make sure you keep track of the wiring. Either take a picture, draw a diagram, or if you have multiple machines, use one of the other machines as a diagram. Cross-check everything on that as you hook it up. Most important thing is to make sure you have the power off while you're transferring components before you power it back on. But just make sure you take pictures of wiring, draw charts, don't mess up the order, and take your time. One part at a time. When the problem moves, you've found the part that represents your problem.